So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are asked that in how many ways can a 4-letter password be chosen using A, B, C, D, E, F such that at least one letter is repeated within the password, right? So tell me one thing, it's a 4-letter password, right? So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So it is a 4-letter password, right? And how many digits are possible? Like how many letters are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically we have to choose each letter from these 6 given letters, right? Okay. So now tell me one thing. We have to find out the number of ways in which the password can be chosen such that at least one letter is repeated, right? So that means in the whole password, at least one letter should be repeated, right? So as I mentioned in a previous question, in order to find, for example, such questions, what we do is that we take the exact opposite case, right? So in this question, we have to find out that at least one letter is repeated, right? So what we assume is that, let's assume that no letter is repeated, right? So what we do is that we find out all the possible cases where no letter is repeated, then we subtract it from all the possible cases, and then what we get is that at least one letter is repeated, right? Because in this case it is saying at least one letter is repeated. So there can be a case where one letter is repeated, there may be two letters which are getting repeated, maybe three letters, or maybe all the letters are getting repeated. So instead of doing this, what we do is that we take a case where no letter is repeated, and then we subtract it from all the possible cases, and then we directly get this answer, right? So tell me one thing, if we talk about the total number of cases, right? So what will be total number of cases? Total number of cases means over here, how many possible options are there? A, B, C, D, E, F, 6 possible options, right? So total cases means over here we can fill any of the 6 options. Over here also we can fill any of the 6 options. Over here also we can fill any of the 6 options. And over here also we can fill any of the 6 letters or options, whatever you call it, right? So these are the maximum or the total number of cases that are possible, right? Where over here you fill any of these letters, in the second place also you fill any of these letters, in the third place also you fill any of these letters, and similarly in the fourth place also you fill any of these 6 letters, right? So any of these 6 letters is this. So this becomes how much? 6 into 6 into 6 into 6, which is 6 to the power 4. So what is 6 to the power 4? 6 to the power 4 is basically the total cases, right? These are the total cases that can be there, the total passwords that can be generated using these letters, right? Now tell me one thing. As I told you that we have to find that at least one letter is repeated. So let's take the opposite case, that no letter is repeated, right? So now we take no letter is repeated, right? So this is the case that we take now, that no letter is getting repeated. So if there is no letter which is getting repeated, so tell me one thing. Over here, how many possible letters can be there? There can be, it can be A or B or C or D or E or F. So there can be 6 possible letters, right? We can take any possible letter. So over here, there can be 6 possible letters. But now tell me one thing, that if I have taken a letter over here, let's suppose I take the letter D. I take the letter D over here. So in the second place, what are the possible options for me? It can be A, B, C, E, F. So I cannot take D because I have already taken a D over here, right? So for the second place, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There will be 5 possible options for me, right? Similarly, for the third place, how many possible options will be there? There were total 6 possible letters or options. I've already consumed 2, so I will be left with 4 possible letters or options, right? Because in this case, I cannot make them repeat. There has to be a unique letter, right? And similarly for the fourth place, because 3 letters have been taken away out of total 6 letters, so 3 new letters or 3 unique letters will be left. So I can fill it with 3 unique letters, any of the 3 unique letters, right? So this is the case when no letter is repeated. I hope this makes sense, right? Okay. So now how many total cases will be there for this part? The total cases will be 6 into 5 into 4 into 3, right? So these are the possible cases where no letter is repeated, right? And these are the possible cases for all the possible ways, the total number of ways. So now if we subtract this with this, what will we get? We will get the ways in which at least one letter is repeated. Because from the entire thing, if we subtract no letter is repeated, that means what we will get? We will get maybe one letter is repeated, maybe two letters is repeated, maybe three letters is repeated. So what we get is at least one letter is repeated. So this is your answer. So your answer becomes 6 to the power 4 minus 6 into 5 into 4 into 3. So this becomes your final answer. Why? Because from the total number of passwords possible, we subtract this part, which is no letter is repeated, and then with what will we get? We will get at least one letter is repeated, right? So I hope this should be pretty clear. I think you can just directly solve it using a calculator, and you'll be able to pretty easily get it. But if you want me to solve it, I can just solve it over here. So you can write this as 6 into 6, right, into 6 square minus 6 into 5 into 4 into 3. So you can take this 6 common. So 1 6 is over here into, this is 12, right? So what you can take again a 6 common. So what will be left? The 6 square minus uh, 4 3s are 12 into 2 10, right? So 6 into 6 into 36 minus 10 is 26. So your final answer becomes 36 into 26. Now I think you can solve it using a calculator and you will be able to easily find the answer. So I hope this should be pretty clear. So in all these questions, what you have to do is that you have to take the opposite case, right? Find the total ways, take the opposite of this, subtract them, and then you will get your answer. So I hope this should be pretty clear.